Maybe you've been wanting to do it, but you felt like I'm not smart enough, or I don't think I can do it. My kids, or I can't afford to do it, or this or the third, or how do I even do it? Or I try to do it and this school took my money, or I try to do it and I couldn't pass the entrance exam. Like, you know why you want to do this. You know why you feel called to it. You know why you keep coming back to this desire to become a nurse. Do not let anybody, myself included, stop you from doing what you want to do. Don't let anybody stop you from doing. You are feeling called to do this for a reason. So do it, and do it well, okay? Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Some 12 years ago, 2012, I became a CNA. A few years after that, I became a licensed practical nurse, also known as an LPN. Worked as an LPN for a while, and then I became an RN in 2022. I can do it, you can do it. I hate that quote. Does anybody hate that? But anyways, I'm gonna let y'all know some tips on anyone who wants to transition or who's thinking about going to become a nurse. If you are right now a CNA or a PCT, y'all know how I get about the hair. That you always want to try to keep a professional rapport at your job. There's plenty of reasons why you want to do this, but let's get into what that actually looks like. So showing up to work on time or early if you can. Child, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. I know it's bad. Do your job well. Don't try to just complain the whole time you're at work or do a sloppy job. Like, do your job well. Also, keep your cool. Like, you don't have to be super dramatic at jobs. Like, this is for anybody, honestly. Like, keep your cool. It's just a job. You get to clock out and go home. Do not let this job take you somewhere that you don't want to be. Do not let it change your character or how you might act. It's still a professional setting, so you want to make sure that you keep yourself at a higher standard when you come to work, especially if you want to later become a nurse. Also, one of the biggest things I would say is just try not to parade around all of your personal business at a job. They don't care. They will use that against you. People will look at you as less than if you're constantly talking about your personal problems and things like that. You want to always try to keep like a professional like mystique. Like, it's just a job. You are there to fulfill a role. You don't have to tell everybody what's going on in your life. Like, it's just, to me, it's just never a good look, because people will find anything to use against you in a professional setting. So it's probably best to just try to, keep things as professional as possible. You can let people know as much as you want, but I just wouldn't come in every day with some type of drama about your personal life, or everyone knows what's going on with your life. Everybody's in your business, because you're allowing them to be in your business. It's just not a good look. And this is why I say you want to keep that professional rapport. This helps you to be able to work after you graduate. If an employer knows that you come to work on time, you do your job well, you work well with the team, you do what you got to do when you go home, they're more than likely going to want to keep you on as a nurse when you graduate. Now, you might say, well, I don't want to work there when I graduate. That's not what I want to do. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. That's fine. But remember, nursing is small. This community is a small community, and everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So you might not want to work at that job, but that DON at that job or that supervisor at that job might know somebody else somewhere else and could help get you through the door somewhere else, or could hinder you from getting a position somewhere else. You just do not know. And also, when you go to nursing school, more than likely you're going to need to get some professional references, which I cannot stand having to get references, y'all. It's one of the things I wouldn't like for like grad school. Like, I'm like, why do I have to get references? Like, why? I just don't like asking people to do stuff like that. And then you have to keep relationships with people, like, ugh. But anywho, you may have to ask people for professional references. So you want to try to just like be at the best of the best, so that you can go to your DON, you can go to your charge nurse, you can go to people that are in higher position, higher roles at your job, to ask them to, create those references for you. Just as a little aside, when I went in for LPN, I used I believe one nurse on the floor that I knew, just a regular charge nurse. And I used my nurse educator at my job, as well as somebody that was in HR that I knew well. I didn't know well, but I feel like I had a good professional rapport with them. That's who I use. I really didn't know the DON as a CNA. Is anybody else like that? If you work in healthcare, like in nursing homes, like I didn't know the DON. I never had to talk to them. Like I feel like they only talk to the nurses. Like I did not talk to them as a CNA, but everybody else I talked to. So that's who I use as my professional references. So always keep that in the back of your mind that these people may either help or hurt you as you go further. So as soon as you know that you want to be on that track to becoming a nurse, you need to start to tighten up and start to see yourself already in that role and act as if you were already in that role. Again, like I said, you just do not want to burn any bridges because nursing is small. So just try your best to keep everything professional, cool, calm, collected. Don't try to create any beef with anybody. That, like I said, is advice for anyone working. Like, why do you want to have strife with people you work with? Now, next, you need to decide if you even want to tell your job that you are in nursing school. Now, I feel like for the most part, most jobs, if they know you're in nursing school, they're going to want to encourage you, help you out. Like they're going to be rallying behind you. They're going to want you to succeed and go further, especially if they like you. I mean, I know it's like, y'all, they don't have to like me. I'm just here, da, da, da. But if they like you and they're like, oh my gosh, you're a great CNA, you're going to be a great nurse. Like they're going to want to encourage you, hopefully. Then you have some people who might try to, I don't want to say sabotage you, but they just might not send you the best encouraging energy. So you might want to decide if you want to really disclose that you were in nursing school at your job. Let me know. Like, have you known or have you had any encounters where you tell people at your job you're going to nursing school and it just don't really pan out how you want? I feel like for me, I had to tell my job because I was changing my schedule, and I had a really decent rapport with everybody at my job for the most part. I talked to pretty much everybody, every department. I was talking to everybody. Like it was just that type of place. Everybody talked to everybody. So I don't feel like it was an issue with me telling people that I was a nurse, but that I wanted to become a nurse, but I could see how it could become an issue. But you just decide. You got to kind of get a feel of it. If you are not a PCT, say you're a CNA, maybe you work in long-term care or home health, something like that, I would consider becoming a PCT if you are a CNA. This is something that I feel like I would have definitely benefited from going into the hospital setting. I know it could seem kind of intimidating, like, am I going to do well? Like, oh my gosh, it's the hospital. Like, oh my gosh. But if you're already doing CNA work, you already know how to take care of people. You already know how to be a professional. Going into the hospital, I'm not going to say it's going to be a breeze. It's definitely going to be a transition, but you can rise to the occasion. And I feel like it's very beneficial for CNAs to get some experience as a PCT, especially if you want to specialize in something. So say for example, you're a CNA right now and you know you want to become a labor and delivery nurse. Why not become a PCT on a labor and delivery unit or a mother-child unit? Why not do that? You're already getting yourself in that position to be able to then, as a PCT, transition yourself into being a nurse on that unit. Because more than likely, if they see how you're working and they really admire or like your work ethic and you fit in well on that unit, when it's time for you to graduate, you will more than likely be able to stay on that unit or at least be close to that vicinity, right? As a new grad nurse. Now, this is not always the case. Again, like I said, some people like you where you're at. Once you decide that you want to level up and put yourself in a different position, then some people act a little funny. So it could be kind of hit or miss, but I also think it's just great to get as much exposure and experience working in the specialty that you want to work in, or even working in different specialties, just to get a feel for what you really have more of a passion for as a healthcare professional. I just really wish that I would have had some hospital experience as a CNA. I wish I would have became a PCT. That's honestly my opinion. I do have a close friend who became that was a PCT on a NICU, and then now after that she worked on a mother baby unit, and then now she works at a community clinic for women. So she was able to do all of that, but she started off as a PCT, on a NICU. And I do have a few videos talking about her. Now she's got her bachelor's and she's actually going to school to become a nurse practitioner. So shout out to her. Something else, even if you do not want to work, like say for instance, you're a PCT and you decide that you want to work in the, you know, on the ER at your hospital, in the ER at your hospital, even if you do not want to work at that specific ER, just having that experience as a PCT working on an ER, like on an emergency, in an emergency room or an ED, I should say, I don't know what they say, ER, ED, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Just that experience alone kind of like beefs up your resume, so to speak. As a new nurse, you can say, okay, I've been a PCT in an ED for the past 2 years. That's gonna look better than someone who may have been in a nursing home for the past 2 years and they want to work in an ED. It just adds even more experience to your resume, and you want to have that as a new nurse, not just to get the job, but just for that familiarity of working on that unit. And also, again, all of that exposure is going to help you to just be a better nurse. Honestly, I just wish that I would have had way more experience working in different specialties as a PCT. Like, definitely take advantage of that if you are a PCT. Something else I would consider is to change your shift. If you are not working nights already, I'm telling you now, working nights is probably one of the best things you could do if you are in school. Now you might think, okay, I'm working nights, like what if I have to go to school the next day? You got to move around your schedule to make it fit you. But for example, me, when I was a CNA, I would work, yeah, it was a lot. And I got several old school videos about this old school nurse B. But as a CNA, I was working 2 days a week or 3 days a week. I worked double shifts on the weekends, and then I would come in and work one like 7-hour shift during the week. And I would do evening night shifts on the weekends, 16-hour shifts. You can't catch me doing that right now, not even close. And I would do, like I said, a 7-hour night shift during the week or a 7-hour evening shift during the week. I mean, I feel like evening shift is pretty cool too if you're in school, but night shift just gives you that time to be able to study. Now, I'm not saying that night shift workers just sit around all day doing nothing, but I definitely had way more time to study while on my night shift. This is what I would do. I would give me that little table. We had, you know, the little bedside tables. I would give me an extra bedside table I found in an empty room, wipe it down real good, and I would sit on my unit that I had my patients on. I would sit on that unit, do my rounds like clockwork. I would write down all the times I had to do my rounds. And each time I would do my rounds, I just cross it off on my little paper, go do my rounds on all my patients, and I would sit there listening out for my patients and doing my work, staying in my own little cubby, working on what I needed to work on. That's what I did pretty much all through nursing school. Yeah, I gotta take this belt. Honey baby child, I had a candy bar today. So we gotta uncinch the waist. I feel like working nights is just a more chill, relaxed vibe. It can be crazy. It can be a little hectic, especially more than likely on night shifts. They try to have the least amount of staff. They try to work you with like the least amount of help. So it might feel like it's more work on you, but more than likely you're gonna have a little bit more time to study and get some type of work, even if it just everything equates to maybe like 2 hours of you being able to study. That's way more than you working a day shift and having zero time to study. But you all, when I would go to work, I would take flashcards, keep those flashcards in my scrubs, and any little time I had in between, I'm looking at those flashcards. Like, there's ways to work and go to school at the same time, and I have several videos about this topic. They are older videos, but they're very thorough, and it's just old school me, y'all. Like, the information is out there, but I can do a little updated video if y'all want. I mean, it's the same information, but I can do an updated video and kind of add a little bit extra zhuzh to it. But that's what I did. So consider working nights. It just gives you a little bit more time, and it kind of, like, I don't know, to me it's just more mellow to work nights. Y'all let me know what y'all think. What's the best shift to work if you were in nursing school? Also, just keep in mind, if you work nights and you want to study, again, some people might be okay with it, but some people might frown upon it, which I feel like if you're doing your work, like, whatever, would you rather I be looking at a book or looking at my phone? So to me, whatever, but you know, to each his own. You just have to get a feel for how things are at your job. Next is already start to change your mindset. If you're in nursing school, or even if you haven't gotten into nursing school and you know that you want to become a nurse, you need to start shifting your mindset to thinking like a nurse, to having more critical thinking skills, to analyzing things in a different way versus just focusing on the ADLs. So for example, if you know that you have to change a patient every 2 hours, right? Think about what really is the reason. Now, of course, we don't want anyone sitting in their own feces and urine all night, right? But what are the consequences of somebody sitting like this, somebody laying like this? Why do they want me to turn this patient every 2 hours? What is this helping with the patient? What is it allowing to happen or preventing within that patient? You need to start thinking about these things. This is just small stuff, but this is nursing. This is the fundamentals. And that's what you're going to learn when you first go into nursing school, is those fundamentals. So you need to start changing your mind. Okay, when I'm feeding a patient, why are they telling me to do 2 bites and 2 sips? Like, what is that helping with? When you're looking at the therapist and you see occupational therapy or PT helping a patient with something, pay attention to, okay, they're telling the patient to tuck their chin in a little bit more. This is helping them to actually swallow a little bit better. Ask questions. Talk to these nurses. When it's time to do a dressing change, walk in there with them like, hey, let me see what you're doing. I'll help you turn her. Let me see what you're doing. Okay, what's that help with? Ask questions. Start to be inquisitive. Start to allow your mind to start thinking more critically and see things from that level as a nurse, because that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. So you want to already start to get the gears going in that direction. And trust me, you will come across some nurses that will be like, oh, come here, I'm about to do this catheter, come in here with me. They're gonna want to show you, hey, I gotta run this IV, come in here with me. Like, they want to show you how to do it. They want to get you more, they want to start to give you more exposure to certain things. They might talk to you differently. They might, you can come to them and ask for help about certain things that you're studying. I did that a lot when I was in nursing school, would talk to nurses and try to have them explain certain things to me, because I don't know, sometimes you come across nurses that are nice and want to take you under their wing. I was very fortunate to have that, but it might not always be the case. But put yourself out there more. Again, like I said, to be a critical thinker and to start shifting the way that you see healthcare. Not just what you do, but also what is a nurse doing. Because so many people have this misconception that all the nurse does is sit at the desk. All they do is sit at the desk. They don't do anything. But that nurse got a lot going on at their head. They debating, should I call the doctor or not? Should I Why is this person labs looking like this? This person's blood pressure is like this. Is it this? Is it that? Like, the nurse is trying to figure out some things about that patient. They're juggling a lot. It's a lot of mental stimulation. So yes, you could say all they do is sit down all day. And this is a whole other video. Comment about it down below and I can, make some comments about it and make a video about it. But the nurse is not just sitting at the desk. I've seen too many CNAs that was like, I thought the nurse was just sitting at the desk. That's not what they doing. That ain't what they doing. I know that ain't what they doing. Now, granted, some of them could help a little bit more, yeah, but they not just sitting at the desk. Is this bothering anybody, like this, the fact that it's not lined up? I'm gonna keep it the way it was just to keep bothering y'all, if it is. But now it's starting to bother me. Okay, anyway, let me focus. Change your mindset. Start to try to look at things a little bit differently. Ask more questions. Like, if you got a nurse that's willing to let you do it, look on their med card and see like look at the medications, look at their treatment card, what's in their treatment card. Like, really start to immerse yourself into that role, because that's where you want to be. So put yourself there, and you'll find a nurse that just be like, come on, let's do this, come on, let's do that. Because we care about the future of healthcare. We care about future nurses. Not all of us, but some of us want, and we love that greenness that a new nurse or that a CNA might have that wants to become a nurse. There's a refreshing energy that's there, and it invigorates us as healthcare professionals, and it also helps us to perform on a certain level when we're working with somebody who wants to be a nurse. You want to be like, okay, let me show you this. Like, let me show you the ropes. Now, then again, I'm going to talk about something else, is that you're going to have other people that may not do that, but we're going to talk about that later. But for the most part, hopefully you can find a nurse that wants to take you under their wing. Okay. So next, or even asking them questions like, how do you all deal with certain CNAs, or what are some things that you feel like, you know, CNAs can improve in, or how were you able, like, were you a CNA first? Like, how did you transition into becoming a nurse? Like, what were some difficulties you had in transitioning from CNA to nurse? Like, talk to them, try to get into people's heads, try to pull information out of them and use them as resources. Your teacher, that textbook is not your only resource. If you're working in healthcare, you need to take advantage of that, because you're in it. You're seeing it every day, so you need to take advantage. Okay, so next is, I would say, consider working agency if you are in nursing school. Or doing your prereqs. Consider agency CNA or PCT work. Here's why. More than likely, you're going to be getting paid $5 to $10, $15 more working agency. Now, yes, you can say, I'm going to lose my benefits, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Now, of course, you need to make sure that you're still in certain guidelines with your job. But if you can, I would say work agency. Now, I did this when I was an LPN transitioning in school to become an RN. I worked agency, and to me it was so beneficial because I'm making more money and I can work less hours. If I have a final next week, I'm not already set in stone having to come to work on the day before my final. If I don't want to pick up that day, I just won't pick up that day. And with agency, I know some people like to do like the whole month and plan themselves out for a whole month. I don't like to do that. And when I was working agency, if I can pick up a shift that same day, I'm gonna pick it up that same day. I don't like to plan myself out too far, because anything can happen, and I'd rather just not have a shift versus having to call out on the shift, because to me, I don't like call. I detest having to call off. Like, that's not something I like to do. But if you know, like, okay, I know I'm gonna have exams this week, so I need to only pick up on these days, or I can't pick up at all this week. You can have that flexibility as an agency staff, and again, you work less hours, make more money. Now, it does have its disadvantages. Like I said, you lose your benefits, and say for instance you are using that job to help pay for school. It could, you know, if you need that job, if they're telling you, hey, we're gonna pay for school, but you have to remain part-time, or you have to get these many hours, or you have to still stay here for these many years afterwards. Okay, you know, don't do that. But if you can afford to do it, if you can afford, as in not money, but if you can afford, like if it fits within your lifestyle and what you got going on, working agency will definitely help you. Now, again, working agency might lessen your chance of creating relationships with nurses and with managers and things like that if you need to get references and things like that. And if you want to have that consistency on a unit, you may not be able to get that working agency. But financially, it makes a huge difference for you to work with agency. And again, if you don't want to have to pick up certain days, you don't have to do that. Now, you could work PRN at your job and probably still get paid a little bit extra money. It just depends. Try to be like, hey, can I still get paid a little extra few dollars if I work PRN? Some places will. I know for me, I work PRN and we get paid a little bit more because we're not eligible for benefits. So you can see about that. But the thing is that you want to be able to have your schedule as open as possible, because in nursing school, so much comes up. It was plenty of times where I had to work Thursday night, and I thought we were going to be off of class Fridays. I was a CNA, and like I said, I had a set schedule because I was working at this facility. I had a set schedule, and I was working every Thursday night. This was like towards the second half of the semester or program. I switched to nights. I was doing evenings, and I switched to nights. And it was times they told us, you're going to have Fridays off, you're going to have Fridays off. Guess what happened? Ferguson happened. Yeah, I lived in freaking Canfield Green. That's a whole other video. Literally, I got a whole video about it. But Ferguson happened here in St. Louis, and we were missing class days. Like they were canceling class because of that. So we had to pick up classes on Fridays. So I was literally getting off of work 7 in the morning, go home, take a shower, had to be at school by 8 o'clock. I'm in class just like out of it, completely out of it. And this was times where I couldn't even go home. Like we couldn't even drive into our apartment because of what was going on over there, protests and things like that. They weren't even letting people get in because so many people that didn't live there was trying to get into that area. So it was a lot going on, child. I'm grateful I got through it and graduated at the top of my class. Yes, I'm still holding on to that valedictorian, child. I'm still holding on to it. But, you know, if had I been working agency, I could have just been like, hey, I'm not working Thursday. I'm not going to pick up on Thursdays because I know I'm going to have to make up, you know, these classes on Fridays. So let me not pick up on Thursday. Maybe I'll make up the class or make up my clinical hours on Friday. We only got to be there for a few hours, and then I'll just go pick up a few like 8-hour shift, 4-hour shift, because agency, you can sometimes work real short hours during agency. I'm gonna pick up a quick little shift on Friday after I get out of class, and I'm gonna do that. Or, hey, it's Thursday and I know I got class tomorrow, so instead of me doing overnight, let me try to get a little evening shift in real quick. And don't let it be an agency that lets you do late starts. If you have agencies, I only know one agency that lets you do this, which is so clutch, where you can come in, say somebody called off, say the shift started at 2:30, and somebody calls off or they can't get someone to come in, and it's like 4 o'clock. They're like, hey, we really need a nurse. Can you come in? And you be like, okay, I'll be there around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they'll pay you for the entire shift. So it's like you're getting paid way more per hour if you do the math, and you're only working like maybe 5-6 hours, and you're still getting paid for the full 8 hours. Like, that's lovely. That's lovely. So keep your options open, but just also, like I said, keep in mind some jobs will want you to stay working, like in order for you to get those benefits from the job. Which leads me to say, if you are working as a CNA or PCT, take advantage of whatever these jobs are offering you. If they're offering you tuition reimbursement, if they're gonna help you with anything, you need to take full advantage of that. You need to take full advantage of that. These jobs have help for school for a reason. You need to take advantage of that. Get your money from these jobs. Make that money or let it make you. Like, you need to take advantage of it. I did that with my job. After each semester, I would submit my grades, and they would give me like a certain amount of money. I forgot how much it was. It wasn't a whole bunch, but hey, like, it was money. It was free money, so to speak. So take advantage of, you know, these jobs. They definitely are taking advantage of you, like, for real, for real. Don't allow other CNAs or nurses to discourage you, especially post, you know, panty dropper season, also known as the pandemic. People have, you know, become more bitter, have had negative outlooks of healthcare, have seen some of the most just inhumane parts of healthcare, myself included. I have a bunch of videos on here where I'm just like bashing the field, right? Or bashing not necessarily the field, but the state of healthcare itself, which honestly is just a reflection of our society at large. So really, it's more so a what do you call it? What's the word? Y'all, it's nighttime, I'm tired. What is the word? It's more of a critique on society than it really is on healthcare. Healthcare is just a reflection of the things we're going on in society, but a lot of us we just are tired. We're bitter, we're tired, we worn out. We went through something that none of us have ever had to experience, right? And we were the front line basically dealing with it, and it was a lot on us. And I'm sure plenty of us have PTSD, and it's not being addressed, and we're constantly still dealing with that, on top of the fact that healthcare was already at a point where it was thin. Like, we were literally holding on by threads. So when that happened, it just brought down the energy of healthcare workers as a whole, I believe. You know, it was just a lot to deal with. It was a lot going on during that time. Anybody that actually worked during that time, like, it's like you got PTSD. You need to be able to do anything you want to do after that. If it's legal in your state, you need to be able to get it, child, because we went through some things. I'm just gonna say that. Like, we went through some things post, like, during that time. So, but do not allow other CNAs who may be bitter because they should have became a nurse 5-10 years ago, and they're looking at you as a young person or whomever, whatever age you are. Girl, why you want to become a nurse? You're 45 years old, you 50 years old, why you want to become a nurse? Or why do you, I don't want to be a nurse, that's too much responsibility, I can't do all of that. Oh, you going to school for what? Why would you want to stay in this field? I don't even want to stay in this field no more. Or nurses being like, don't do it, don't do it. I wish somebody would have warned me, don't become a nurse, don't do it, don't do it. It's not what you think it is. Like, I get it because of the things that we've been through, but I mean, you're not getting out of it, you're still in it. So wouldn't you want to have more people coming into the field that hopefully are excited and have some fresh blood to do this? Wouldn't you? That's my opinion. But don't let them discourage you. You know why you want to do this. You know why you feel called to go further in your career. You know that you want to better your life. You know that this may have been something that you've always wanted to do. You know that you are capable of this. You know that you are finally in a space in your life where you feel ready to do this. Maybe you tried it before and you failed. That's okay. It's okay to say you failed. Maybe you've been trying to do prereqs for the past 5-6 years. I did prereqs for 5 years, y'all. I got a video about that too. Maybe you've been wanting to do it, but you felt like I'm not smart enough, or I don't think I can do it, my kids, or I can't afford to do it, or this or the third, or how do I even do it, or I tried to do it and this school took my money, or I tried to do it and I couldn't pass the entrance exam. Like, you know why you want to do this. You know why you feel called to it. You know why you keep coming back to this desire to become a nurse. Do not let anybody, myself included, stop you from doing what you want to do. Don't let anybody stop you from doing. You are feeling called to do this for a reason, so do it, and do it well. Okay, doing it and doing it and doing it well. Yeah, I told y'all it's late, but for real, like, if you feel called to do it, do not let the naysayers, don't let them even come into your aura. You have to protect your energy and stay focused on what you want to accomplish. I had somebody tell me, this is somebody who was like considered a friend. We had a little conversation or whatever, and this was when I was an LPN going to school. I was in school for my RN, and we would just kind of have a little conversation. And I said something about, girl, stop acting petty, or stop acting like you jealous, or I said something. And it was like, well, if I wanted to become an RN, I wouldn't take 7 years to do it if I was going to do it. And I'm just thinking, like, you know what? It don't matter how long it took me to do it. Yes, I was an LPN for 7 years before I became an RN, but I've had plenty of things that I would say were against me, but I still did it. I still did 5 years of prerequisites that I paid out of pocket for. Every last one of them. Every last one of them prereqs I paid out of pocket for. I had to budget for that. I had to pick up overtime for that. I had to still be a mother to my children during that time. I still had to be somebody's wife during that time. I still showed up to do this channel during that time because I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to get to that next level. So never let anybody discourage you. You'll have LPNs that tell you, oh, don't go for RN. They ain't trying to pay you. They not doing that, honey. I'm making way more than I ever made. Way more than I ever thought I would make per hour as a RN, getting this experience and very much so enjoying my job. Never let anybody stop you from doing what you feel called to do. Don't let your inner thoughts, don't let negativity, don't let none of that stop you. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that you're not going to feel like, I can't do this. This is too much. Like, this is too much on me. I can't do it. Especially if you're working while you're in school. I get it. We are adults. We got to do what we got to do. I get it. If you are in a marriage, or if you got children or relationship, whatever, like, it's work. But you want to do this for a reason. So you need to stick to it. Okay? I don't care how long those prereqs take. I don't care if the school didn't change the prereqs halfway through the dang on time you was going for prereqs, and my school did. I was like, I didn't pay for this class and I don't even have to freaking use it. Like, why did I do this? I did. Anyways, I don't care. You want to do it, so make it happen. And it's very much so possible. I see how passionate I am about this because I know what it feels like to feel like you are at the bottom of the totem pole as a CNA or a PCT. And no matter what you do, somebody has something negative to say about what you do or how you're working, or people want to say negative things about, oh, all you are is a professional aid wiper, and this is the third, and this is the third. Or, people want to direct you around and blame certain things on you, look down on you, talk down on you. I get it. And then you might not even be getting paid what you feel like you're worth, because you're probably not. You're probably not. I was getting paid, I think at the most as a CNA, I probably got paid like $10 or $11 an hour. Taking care of 15 patients, making sure this person don't fall on the floor, making sure this person don't dig their little dirty nails into my skin, trying to wash somebody else's family up that ain't had a shower in 5 days. Like, and you just sitting, and the nurse want to be like, oh, we got an admission, or they don't even tell you got an admission. You know them long-term care, they don't even tell you got an admission. They're like, oh, you need to go put some linen on this room. The person coming down, the new admission here, you're like, what? I didn't even know the new admission was here. Like, you didn't even tell me nothing. Like, I get it. I understand where you are coming from and how you might feel. And for some people, it's a long time coming. I've talked to too many people that said, I tried this LPN program, or I tried the CNA program, or I went to this St. Louis College of Health Careers here in St. Louis, child. I went there and I couldn't really get through the LPN program, so they switched me to the respiratory therapy program. I didn't want to do that, so now I'm doing pre-reps at the community college, but I still owe this school all this money. I understand. I overstand. I get it. But you want to do this. So sit down, create your plan, map out what you're going to do. It might take you 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. However long it's going to take, that time going to pass anyway if you're still going to be breathing. So the time going to go by anyways. So sit down with yourself, with God, whatever you got to do, and make it happen. Because it is possible. You will change your life. You will change your life when you become a nurse. Just the process of making up in your mind that you want to do this and that you are worthy of that, that's going to take you to the next level already. Because I know too many of y'all are saying, I'm not smart enough, I didn't do well before, it's going to be too hard, I can't afford it, but I have kids, but I'm a single mom, or but this and the third. And I know it's some fellas out there too, I'm sorry, but I got to talk to the majority. But anybody, it's something that might be holding you back, but it's something stronger that's more compelling that you need to listen to. Don't listen to anything else. Don't listen to anyone else, and that includes yourself. Don't allow any mistakes from the past to stop you. This is coming from somebody who didn't learn how to read till I was 9 years old. Don't let things from your past stop you. It is possible. You can do it. Follow these tips in this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm about to get off my soapbox. I haven't went to church on y'all. I went to church. That you're tired of thinking about it and you want to make it a reality. Just focus on that. I know that it takes some people so much energy just to go into a school and take an entrance exam. I know that take a lot out of you to just do that. It's a lot of things that we are overcoming as individuals to level up in life, but it's so possible, y'all. It's so much so possible. And like I said, it will change your life. It will change your life. Being a nurse has been a true blessing to me, my family, and I'm hoping to the people that I take care of, and also to this community. I hope that I am a blessing to you all, because I have been blessed to be in this position, and I have been blessed by you all as well. So I'm very passionate about this. I believe that we can all get to the next level, whatever that looks like for you, but you have to believe it. You really do. That's the only thing that's stopping you, is you. You might say, oh, I got this obstacle, I got this, I got that. That's just the way you're seeing it. That's just the way you're seeing it, baby. Because there's other people that might be like, shoot, if all it took was that, oh shoot, I can make that work. Oh, you mad because you can't get, because you gotta redo a science class? Honey, I'm still working on trying to just pass this math class. I'm just trying to make sure I get out of elementary algebra. Like, I'm just trying to get to the next level. It's some people that are way behind compared to you. And I'm not saying, to put yourself in, compare people, but no matter where you are in life, it's possible, but you have to believe it. And you just got to sit down with yourself and start making those plans. Start looking at it. Start to look at it with the open mind. Start to look at, how can you make this work? Does that mean going agency? Does that mean working nights? Does that mean that you keep a part-time job, but you pick up agency instead of picking up at that job? You stay part-time nurse to keep your benefits and to keep, whatever help they helping you with school, but maybe you pick up an agency shift here and there to make a little bit extra money if you want to make some extra money, or just gets away from that. Or maybe you want to work home health and you're like, I don't want to work with all these dang on patients. I need to be in home health with one patient and I can sit down and study all night if need be. It's so many possibilities. If you are a CNA or PCT, this job is 24 hours. So you can make it work for you. It is possible. You got kids. I remember I was in the RN program. I was like, how am I going to do, you know, my clinicals and things like that, or certain days I need to work. My kids was in daycare. And the school was paying for the daycare. I signed up for a program, and I'm married and I was able to get it. I signed up for a program and the school ended up paying for daycare. It's opportunities to help out here. Get a WIA program. Go to the WIA program. Depending on where you at, I know here in Missouri they pay like $5,000 towards your schooling. You got to take like one class, 1 day a week or something like that, and they'll give you like $5,000. I think if you were in Illinois, they give you like $11,000 if you're in school. It's called WIA. I don't know a whole lot about it except for what I just told y'all. Sometimes this stuff is hard to figure out what you got to do, but make some phone calls, do some research, get some help. The help is out here. If you got a phone, if you got the internet, if you got whatever, you have way more than a decent percentage of people in this world. So you can make it possible. It's possible, child. You can make it work. There's really no excuses unless you make excuses for yourself. There's always ways to make things work for you. Never allow someone's opinion to dissuade you to not do something or to do something. You never should allow anyone to push you into either direction. Only you know what's best for you. That's really what it comes down to. If you are in control of your life and you know that you have some type of volition over the direction of where you're going in life, you should really be listening to yourself. Everybody's going to have their opinion. You got plenty of bitter people in this field. You have plenty of negative people in this field who have been on the same unit at the same facility doing the same thing for the past 10 years, and they know that they should have did something else, like I said, 5-10 years ago. They should have just switched it up. But since they're so bitter and angry with themselves, they want to now push that onto you. Nah, forget that. That's why I say sometimes you may or may not want to tell people what you're doing. You can keep it on the hush. If you study and be like, oh yeah, I'm just studying. I'm just, you know, I'm you ain't got to broadcast it, but you could be doing your own thing. And if they want to come ask you, okay, cool. Or they might see you, okay, cool. You don't have to tell everybody what's going on with you, because not everybody is here for you. And you don't need anybody putting no clouds over your dang on sunshine. Forget that. You don't need that. And plenty of people will do it. But then again, you have plenty of people who really will want to uplift you. So keep that in mind too, y'all. So with that being said, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I hope you all found this video to be encouraging and uplifting. And if you want to become a nurse, man, come through. Make it happen. Make it work, because we need y'all, because we tired, y'all. We about to tap out. Okay? But I love you all. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting this channel. Thank you, y'all, because I am passionate about people just believing that they can get to the next level. There's something to say about an individual who's willing to do the work to be a better person, who's willing to do the work to put themselves in a better position, and who first off just believes that they can do it. That is enough, y'all. That belief is enough to get you there. If you just take one step, I'm telling you, God gonna take the next step. The universe, whatever you believe, like, it's gonna work for you. It all works for you. Just, you gotta say, this all works for me. It all works for me. Whatever you want is gonna work for you. And that's on the negative side too. If you're only looking at the negative, okay, yeah, you don't think you can do it, I'm gonna keep showing you ways you can't do it. That's what you believe. It's all about your mindset, y'all. It's your mindset. That's why I say, don't just look at yourself as a CNA. You are a nurse in training. So start looking at yourself like that. Start to look at yourself differently. Okay? All right, I love you. I gotta go. Bye, y'all.